Hi everyone, I have a new story to read to you today. It's called Chrysanthemum and it was written and illustrated by Kevin Henkes. He's the author and the illustrator, so he wrote the words and drew all the pictures. This is one of my favorite stories, so I really hope you enjoy it. The day she was born was the happiest day in her parents' lives. "She's perfect," said her mother. "Absolutely," said her father. And she was. She was absolutely perfect. "Her name must be everything she is," said her mother. "Her name must be absolutely perfect," said her father. And it was. Chrysanthemum. Her parents named her Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum grew and grew and grew, and when she was old enough to appreciate it, Chrysanthemum loved her name. She loved the way it sounded when her mother woke her up. She loved the way it sounded when her father called her for dinner. And she loved the way it sounded when she whispered it to herself in the bathroom mirror. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum loved the way her name looked when it was written with ink on an envelope. She loved the way it looked when it was written with icing on her birthday cake. And she loved the way it looked when she wrote it herself with her fat orange crayon. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum thought her name was absolutely perfect. And then she started school. On the first day, Chrysanthemum wore her sunniest dress and her brightest smile. She ran all the way. "Hooray!" said Chrysanthemum. "School!" Look at her, how excited she is to go to school. But when Miss Chud took roll call, everyone giggled upon hearing Chrysanthemum's name. There's Miss Chud right there, and she's calling everyone's name for attendance. Dawn, Eve, Lois, Al, Les, Kay, Max, Sue, Bill, Pat, Tom, Sam, Ken, Joe, Rita, Victoria, and down there it says Chrysanthemum. What do you notice about all the kids' names compared to Chrysanthemum's name? Do you notice anything different? Let's see if what you're thinking is what the story ends up being about. "It's so long," says Joe. "It scarcely fits on her name tag," said Rita, pointing. "I'm named after my grandmother," said Victoria. "You're named after a flower." Chrysanthemum wilted. That means she got very sad. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. Dreadful is like horrible. She's just thinking she doesn't like her name. It's not a good name anymore. The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and informed Miss Chud that Chrysanthemum's name was spelt with 13 letters. "That's exactly half as many letters as there are in the entire alphabet," Victoria exclaimed. "Thanks for sharing that with us, Victoria," said Miss Chud. "Now put your head down." Victoria, pointing out how many letters are in the name Chrysanthemum. If I had a name like yours, I'd change it, Victoria said, as the students lined up to go home. I wish I could, thought Chrysanthemum miserably. Welcome home, said her mother. Welcome home, said her father. School is no place for me, said Chrysanthemum. My name is too long. It scarcely fits on my name tag. And I'm named after a flower. Oh, psst, said her mother. Your name is beautiful and precious and priceless and fascinating and winsome, said her father. It's everything you are, said her mother. Absolutely perfect, said her father. Chrysanthemum felt much better after her favorite dinner, macaroni and cheese with ketchup. Oh my goodness. Have you ever tried macaroni and cheese with ketchup on it? I have. It's actually not too bad. You should try it. And an evening filled with hugs and kisses and parcheesi. Do you guys know what parcheesi is? Parcheesi's a board game. See? There they are. They've got their board game out. And there's Mom hugging Chrysanthemum. Do you think that's making Chrysanthemum feel better? I think so. That night, Chrysanthemum dreamed that her name was Jane. It was an extremely pleasant dream. She is dreaming. Why do you think she thinks the name Jane is pleasant? Do you think maybe because Jane is a shorter name, more common? It's not different. Not the way Chrysanthemum is. Chrysanthemum is a very original name, and Jane is definitely one that people have heard before. The next morning, Chrysanthemum wore her most comfortable jumper. She walked to school as slowly as she could. She dragged her feet in the dirt. Chrysanthemum, 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 she wrote. See her writing her name in the dirt? She even looks like a flower, said Victoria, as Chrysanthemum entered the playground. Let's pick her, said Rita, pointing. Let's smell her, said Joe. Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. There they go again, making her feel bad and hurting her feelings, making her feel very sad. The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and said, a chrysanthemum is a flower. It lives in a garden with worms and other dirty things. Thank you for sharing that with us, Victoria, said Miss Chudd. Now put your head down. Look, there they are. There she is, making fun of her. I just cannot believe your name, Victoria said as the students lined up to go home. Neither can I, thought Chrysanthemum miserably. There they are, lining up, and Victoria still teasing her, even after their nap. Welcome home, said her mother. Welcome home, said her father. School is no place for me, said Chrysanthemum. They said I even look like a flower. They pretended to pick me and smell me. Oh, psst, said her mother. They're just jealous. and envious, and begrudging, and discontented, and jaundiced, said her father. Who wouldn't be jealous of a name like yours? Said her mother. After all, it's absolutely perfect, said her father. Do you think she's going to start feeling a little bit better? Hopefully, Mom and Dad can make her feel better. Chrysanthemum felt a trifle better. That means just a little bit better. After her favorite dessert, chocolate cake with buttercream icing. That sounds good, right? And another evening filled with hugs and kisses and parcheesi. So they're playing their board game again. And of course, Mom and Dad are hugging her and making her see how much they love her and making her feel better. That night, Chrysanthemum dreamed that she really was a chrysanthemum. She sprouted leaves and petals. Victoria picked her and plucked the leaves and petals one by one until there was nothing left but a scrawny stem. It was the worst nightmare of Chrysanthemum's life. There's Victoria, plucking her. Chrysanthemum wore her outfit with 7 pockets the next morning. She loaded the pockets with her most prized possessions. That means the things that it takes really good care of, her favorite things. She loaded her pockets with her most prized possessions and her good luck charms. Chrysanthemum took the longest route possible to school. She stopped and stared at each and every flower. Chrysanthemum, 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 the flowers seemed to say. That morning, the students were introduced to Miss Twinkle, the music teacher. Her voice was like something out of a dream, as was everything else about her. The students were speechless. They thought Miss Twinkle was an indescribable wonder. They went out of their way to make a nice impression. That means they really wanted her to like them. Miss Twinkle led the students in scales. Then she assigned roles for the class musical. Victoria was chosen as the dainty fairy queen. Rita was chosen as the spiffy butterfly princess. Jo was chosen as the all-important pixie messenger. And Chrysanthemum was chosen as a daisy. Do you know what a daisy is? A daisy is a flower, just like chrysanthemum is a flower. Chrysanthemum's a daisy, chrysanthemum's a daisy, Jo, Rita, and Victoria chanted, thinking it was wildly funny. Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. There they are, teasing her again. And this time, they're teasing her in front of Miss Twinkle, the teacher that they're trying to get to like them. What's so humorous? Said Miss Twinkle. Humorous means, what's so funny? Chrysanthemum, was the answer. Her name is so long, said Jo. It scarcely fits on her name tag, said Rita. I'm named after my grandmother, said Victoria. She's named after a flower. So look, there they are, teasing her. What do you think Miss Twinkle's going to say? Do you think Miss Twinkle's going to think that the name Chrysanthemum is funny? Do you think she thinks the kids are being nice to Chrysanthemum? Let's find out what Miss Twinkle thinks. My name is long, said Miss Twinkle. It is, said Jo. My name would scarcely fit on a name tag, said Miss Twinkle. It would, said Rita, pointing. And, said Miss Twinkle, I'm named after a flower, too. You are? Said Victoria. Yes, said Miss Twinkle. My name is Delphinium. Delphinium Twinkle. And if my baby is a girl, I'm considering Chrysanthemum as a name. I think it's absolutely perfect. So see, do you see Miss Twinkle there? See her little tummy right there? She's pregnant. She's got a baby in there. And she's saying if she has a little girl, she's going to name her Chrysanthemum because she thinks it's a beautiful name. Chrysanthemum could scarcely believe her ears. She blushed, she beamed, she bloomed. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Look at how happy she looks right there. She's even a little embarrassed and shy. But tell me, do you think Miss Twinkle made her feel really happy about her name? I think she did. Joe, Rita, and Victoria looked at Chrysanthemum longingly. That means they're looking at her and they're sort of wishing that they had a name like Chrysanthemum, too. Call me Marigold, said Joe. I'm Carnation, said Rita, pointing. My name is Lily of the Valley, said Victoria. Do you guys know what kind of names those are? All of those are names of flowers, too. Chrysanthemum did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She knew it. The end. So, Chrysanthemum learned to love her name just like all the kids in the classroom did. And I think it's important that everybody knows that you have a very special name too. The reason your name is so special is because your parents picked your name just for you. And it was the most beautiful name they could pick to name you after. I hope you enjoyed this story. Have a great day.